it. And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. This is Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified financial planner, and certified tax coach, president, founder, and a CEO of the Henderson Financial Group and the Henderson Insurance and the Henderson Realty Group. And joining me live here is my co-host, the wonderful, talented, uh, famous
Stop. No,
Mr.
you don't have.
James
Hey,
T. Hot 105.
hey, Rob, you are about to give Linda all that she needs to take one of those titles.
Linda, my sister. I was with Linda last night, man. Linda's take care of her mother today. Let me tell you something. Linda, Natalie, Patricia, Becky, and Angie, they
Mhm.
really are really chipping in and really taking care of their mother. I have nothing but admiration.
Mm.
I've been knowing them since I was in middle school, and probably since I was about 10 years old. And everybody know I'm 65 years old now, and I've married into the family when me and Natalie got married in 1987. So we've been married. This May will be 37 years, but we've together. It's about 40 years we're
Mm.
together, really.
Right.
But let me tell you something. They really are taking care of their mother. I mean, and I just have, like I said, utmost respect and admiration. Them some strong girls. I know it's tough, and it's tough. When you're dealing with hardship and your parents that raise you, and then sometimes kids just go off and say, hey, they're on their own. But when you find, kids have gratitude and still have that respect and gonna do the right thing, that is nothing but admiration. Anytime your mom is getting older and she has Alzheimer or dementia or anything, and you are sticking there with them, that's nothing but admiration and blessings. And I just take my hat off to them. I see what they do, I see how they do it, and it's just incredible,
Yeah.
but it's a wonderful thing to see. So, Linda, I don't know if you're listening. Probably not. I don't know. She probably so busy, but much love to your sister-in-law. I love you, and ain't nothing I won't do for you. Well, I don't know about
Amen.
that, but I do. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, hey, Linda, record that and then bring it to him and say, "Now do I become president?" Now do I be but hey, man, it is a wonderful thing, Rob, and man, I admire you, for all that you do, for family and for others, and that's why we do, this program. I know people, often ask me, those that are close to me, because it does take some sacrifice. When you give of your time, there's nothing more valuable that you could give, Rob. Nothing, more valuable than your time,
That's right.
because you can't get that back. You can't get that back. So, and I applaud people. We had a saying in our family, and I thank God that I was able to live up to it. But that the only time that we would send our parents, to quote unquote, another facility other than our homes, was when it was necessary for their health. And it does. I have a favorite saying that I say to people who are caregivers, and it's simply this: caregivers needs care too.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Believe me, because
Really hard
until
on
you
them.
do it, you really don't know what it takes to be a caregiver, particularly, to an elderly, person. Now, of course, our parents took care of us when we couldn't take care of ourselves, and I think that was the attitude that, our family had. And I mean, literally, we have had, with my family, you'd walk into the house and my aunts would, the nurse would be there, the bed would be there, whatever could be provided in the home, was provided in the home. So, hey, shouts out to those people who are caregivers. And while we're on that, shouts out, it's Veterans Day, and many will be remembered and many will be honored, today throughout the country, saying to those veterans and those who have served, are serving, hey, a big thank you. So, shouts out to the veterans, throughout our country, and those who are outside the country. Because, Rob, I was in a medical battalion. Okay. Now, people would think, okay, you're at a hospital. No, no, no. I was in a medical battalion. And during the Vietnam, quote unquote, era, if you would see, and I believe me, what I saw wasn't all there was to be seen being in a medical battalion, but it was rough. There were many people who served, quote unquote, our country. And at that time, it was a draft. You know, you were being drafted. You weren't volunteering, even though some of us did. And they told me I was crazy for volunteering while we were at war as well. You know, but hey, I wanted to get it out of the way because I had a plan. But for those who served it, to those families that make the sacrifice, to those that have lost loved ones, to those that have had family members to come back and to see their struggles, amen. Our country owes a big debt to veterans, a
Yes.
big debt. And I certainly hope that the leaders of our country will live up to that.
Yes. I mean, it's incredible how many people have sacrificed their lives for this country, you know, all walks of lives, you know, all different hues, all shapes, all colors, men and females, you know.
Mhm.
I just it's pretty obvious that the veterans, people who sacrifice their lives for this country just don't get the due that they truly deserve, you know. And it's amazing to me. But that's how it's been for a while. You know, veterans need a lot of help and support, and you see a lot of them. You know, they come back and they have all kind of psychological problems, and you know they just don't really, they're not able to really get the help. You know, but anyway,
Today, what are we talking about, Mr. Henderson, today?
what today, James, I want to talk about present value, future value. Are you spending and wasting your future lifestyle? Are you spending your money are you spending your future lifestyle money today?
Today.
And
Mm,
the reason why I want to talk about that, because I think a lot of people never have this conversation. You know, it's something that, you know, some people will say, I never thought of it like that. So today is one of them I never thought of it like that conversations. You know,
hmm.
I never thought of it like that conversation. You know, right now we're living in a time where interest rates are higher. Although they said that, you know, since the Feds elected this last week not to increase the interest rate, because it seems like what they've been doing, raising interest rates, is trying to slow the economy down, well, I wouldn't say the economy, trying to slow spending down, and they're trying to get control of inflation. So, you know, raising interest rates, when you raise interest rate, it really supposed to have an effect from the top on down, because you have business owners and people, business owners are supposed to lay off people because they don't have enough of cash flow, because the cost of doing business has increased. So therefore, they have to lay off some people and do double time with the people that they have. So therefore, they're laying off some people. Then that means less people are going to be in the workforce, which means that and less people in the workforce, I mean, less people have money to go to your shop and his shop and that restaurant and buy those clothes. And then if that's the fact, if that's happening, then the merchants have to lower their prices on food and services and everything else. And now that's how inflation comes down. So they're saying it's working. At the same time, you know, Christmas time is coming, and you know, Amazon and a lot of them going to be hiring people. So we're at a pivotal point. You know, it's like, yeah, this month is good. Nah, next month is bad. So I don't know. We still in a wait and see. We don't really know if it's going to pan out and really start to really get back, and inflation is going to be low, because like I said, right now most people, Christmas time's coming, man. James, it was amazing that before Thanksgiving, people putting out all of the Christmas gear. I mean, I'm driving now, and I'm seeing reindeers and lights up, and I'm like, whoa, I thought you're supposed to go through Christmas. I thought it was a time where you have to go through Thanksgiving first, and then you start seeing all the Christmas stuff coming up. But right now, they like, forget about Thanksgiving, forget about food. Man, we want to start getting that Christmas money right now. So I see the merchants, I see lights going up on buildings and developments. I'm like, wow, it's already happening, man. People can't wait to spend the future dollars now. And what I
Rob,
mean by that,
Rob,
go
you,
ahead.
do you know I saw an ad where they said Black Friday is all this month?
They said that.
Yes, an ad. They're running an ad where people would want to say, Black Friday, whatever that means to go out and buy. Hey, they're saying it's all month.
Wow, that's something how they manipulate our minds, isn't it?
Mm, ugh, boy, oh boy. And I gotta confess with transparency,
Uh-huh.
I sit here in my office,
Yes.
and if I turned this computer around, you would see a 6-foot Christmas tree already
Are you
decorated.
kidding me, James? Already, it's November 11th. What about the turkey?
Uh, and
So
it's
in
been
your
up
house,
and it's been up for days.
oh,
In the
somebody's getting,
bedroom, an 8-foot Christmas tree. Come on,
oh
Rob.
man, somebody's getting into the Christmas spirit, boy. And hey, you just
I
gotta, hey man, ain't nothing you can do about it.
I
Happy wife, happy life.
but I have Santa. I've got Knowles 1, 2, 3. I've got every when I close the door, the jingle bells jingle. So
Oh
hey,
man.
Rob, but Rob, my question becomes this: so they're trying to tell us that when people get laid off, that it's good for the country.
Correct.
When people are not working and not able to spend, that the country does better. I don't buy, if I put that on the equation, I say, whoa, 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 whoa. Because you and I know that somebody up top is still making money.
Yeah, but see, when you put it like that, it's two parts to it. In other words, if let's say that you have a clothing store. Let's say you have a boutique store, James T Boutique Clothing Store, right? And let's just say that it's high end, and it's not Marshalls or Ross, okay? It's high end, all right? And
Mhm.
you sell boutique stuff, jewelry and everything. And people come down, to Miami, and they come to your boutique store, and they spend it. But now, if less people come into your store, you have that merchandise. You got to get rid of it because you can't, that's how you're going to eat. So rather than selling something for $200 for a blouse or a shirt or a pair of pants or jeans, you're going to lower it. You're going to put a sale sign and says 50% off, because you got to make up for that traffic that was coming but not coming anymore because less people are coming into your store. You got to induce them. You have to market that. You have to say, listen, half price on everything. Now, when you say half price on everything, you're gonna make less money, but you're gonna make some money better than making no money. So,
But how does that help the country? What is that doing for the country? How's the
well,
country benefiting?
you still have sales, but how does it help it is now they're bringing down prices. Not only James T Boutique prices are coming down, but the food and the groceries, all that, everything is coming down. So therefore, inflation is coming down. So now when people come into your store, instead of paying $200 for those pair of jeans, you mark them down 50% because not that many people is coming in, but they coming in now because now instead of paying 200, you got it at 100. Now more people are coming in, so you're gonna make it up with volume. So how does that help the country? The country right now is in pretty good shape economically, okay, because there's a lot of money out there. So when there's a lot of money flowing, then it's okay. But when the merchants see there's a lot of money out there, it's just human nature. Merchants raise prices.
Hmm.
I tell this story years ago, back in the 1990s. I used to have a manufacturing snow cone company where I actually manufactured the ice, the syrup, the cups, and all that. A warehouse, And I used to serve Miami Arena. I used to serve a Metro Zoo, Miami Aquarium. The Dolphin Stadium. I used to service them. Now when they were and in Lollapalooza events all around, the festivals all around the town, people used to order my snow cones. Now, we used to have some carts out there ourselves, not just manufacturing. We would have snow cone carts called Snowy Delight. Now, let me give you a good example how, what used to take place. We used to have a carts out there, and we would say, okay, our snow cone is going to be $2 at this festival, a music festival, out the park, and we're going to sell a snow cone for $2. Then people would line up all around the corner to get those snow cones. The guy next door to me, he was selling lemonade for $3. His line was just as long as ours. And I remember Natalie says, Robert, his line is just as long as our line as long as his, but he's getting $3 for lemonade. We're getting $2. So I said, well, wow, I'm going to raise mine to $3. So I said, next hour, we're going to put a sign out and say early bird special is over. Now it's going to be $3. And we did that. We raised it to $3. We was afraid if we raised it to $3, they were going to stop. The line was going to get short. People were going to say, no, I ain't paying $3. James, when I raised it to $3, guess what? The line stayed long. They still was in there. And guess what? I didn't just leave it at $3. I said, oh my God, look, this line still low. It's getting evening time now. I'm gonna raise it to $4. And guess what? I raised it to $4 and the line still was long. And then I started second guessing myself saying, what a fool. I could have been getting this all the time. These people are buying. They don't care what the price is. And before the night was over, we were selling one snow cone for $5 and people were still in line. Now, if they would have got a line and nobody would have been there, you think I would have kept it at $5? No, I need sales. I'd have bought it back down to $4. And then less people was in line, I'd have bought it back down to $3. Hell, if nobody was coming, I'd have bought it down to $1. Somebody back. You see what I mean? That is how economics, worldly, that's how it works. Supply and demand. The more demand, the higher the price is going to be. That's it.
Rob, when you take my boutique and you force me out of business, okay? Because, hey, you're saying that just because I have to lower my prices, that my distributor is going to, lower my cost for the product. And that doesn't always happen. Sometimes, now when I close my boutique, all my employees, they're out of a job.
Yeah, but let me tell you something, James. Anytime that, when they say that is the price of war, somebody's going to die. That's the price of it. When it comes to the economy and economics, when they raise the prices, they know hundreds of thousands of small businesses are going to go out of business. But they say that's okay. That's the casualties of war. The good, there's a greater good. Some people going to get hurt.
So now I got to go out and get a job. I got to close my business and I got to get a job.
That's right. You got
and accept that minimum wage that they set up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to whatever you're gonna have to do, because in business, there's always casualties of war. Someone is winning and someone is losing. I mean, think about this war that's going on in the Middle East with Israel and Hamas. There's a lot of money being paid. There's a lot of money being made. That money not going down. When America said we're going to send y'all so many billions of dollars, that's not going in the canal. That's going to end up in somebody's pocket, because somebody's going to provide the shells, the bullets, the ammunition, the equipment, the food. The electric. The money's going to trickle. It's the cost of something. The money just don't disappear and spend. It goes. Eventually, it winds up in somebody's pocket. So
that's not our local businesses, Rob. Our local businesses, that's not going to help my boutique, and that's not going to help your snow cone business either.
No. But what happens is when they raise interest rates and it makes it harder for business owners, the little business owners always suffer. The big fish always eat little fish, across the board and everything. There's never been a time in history where the rich didn't get richer. Okay, the rich always getting richer because the rich control the media. The rich control history. The rich writes it. The people who can afford tells the story. They control your beliefs.
But it's more of us than it is of them. So how do the more, take care of them?
Well, that's heaven. When that happens, then the world change. It's always been more of us than them, so to speak. But the people, nothing ever changes until the people say enough is enough. When the people say enough is enough. Just take, for example, what just took place in Ohio about the abortion rights. And Ohio, when they just did that vote last week, the people of Ohio voted to not have restrictions on abortion. They said, women stood up and said, listen, you're not going to tell us what to do with our bodies. And that was black, white, Spanish. They did that. Nothing never changes, and the people and the consciousness of the people say, okay, enough is enough. And the other side is going to run you raggedy and going to take full advantage of you until you stand up and say enough is enough. It's the same thing that happened with Hollywood and the writers and the Actors Guild. Uh, Hollywood was taking advantage of AI and not paying the writers, and the future looks like Hollywood's going to make more money and the writers are going to make less money. They're going to get less residual, especially with streaming, until the writer says, no, we're going to strike. We're not going to write no more. Nothing never changes until you change it. And let me tell you something. It's business. It's business. Most people say, man, listen, I will take advantage of you until you stand up for yourself. That is life. I want to say it again. In life, they never taught us that the system says, whatever system you're in, whatever industry you're in, that industry will take advantage of you until you change it, because they say you really don't want it, do you? You yourself, me, myself, and I. Some of us spend all of our money from paycheck to paycheck. We're never going to get ahead until we say, listen, I don't need that no more. I had a client, listen, I got a new client. This guy, he called me. He said, Henderson, I need you to help me with financial planning, get my budget together, get my whole life together. So I asked him, I said, let me take a snapshot and see exactly what comes in your household and what goes out. He said, Mr. Henderson, I got a lot of debt. I said, how did you get in so much debt? He says, Mr. Henderson, I'm 58 years old. He said, but the pandemic, even though it was a tragic, it helped me mentally. I said, how did it help you mentally? He said, because before the pandemic happened, he said he, in his mindset, felt he had to go out on the town every day, every weekend, go out clubbing, spending, having a good time, living his life. He said it was not until after the pandemic hit in 2020 where things were closed. He couldn't go out. He was forced to stay home. Therefore, he was forced to save more money. But he had already ran up his credit cards. And he said, oh my God, I'm not an addict. I don't have to go out and spend every night and go to the clubs and the parties, because I can't go now because they done shut everything down. And now he had an epiphany that, oh my God, I really don't need that. I was a going out junkie and I was spending all my money. And now I know that, oh my God, I don't need it. And then he says, now how do I crawl myself out of this debt mess? Mr. Henderson, I need you. I said, well, I'm so glad. Because a lot of times we look at, tragedy or things happen to us as being bad, but a lot of times it's a wake-up call. Sometimes you get fired and then you go and invent yourself and then you go start your own business or be more creative. So he said, oh my God, see, we don't make changes until we have to make, until we feel like our back's against the wall. We say, I ain't taking this no more. And the system itself, life itself, is set up like that. It wants to, the big bear wants to know, when are you really sick and tired? It doesn't change until you change it. You have to have the courage to say, I'm sick and tired. I want to change it. That's why I tell people, when you get past 50 and you don't live for 50 years on this planet, and you done made a lot of mistakes, you done bought the shiny objects and you watched them fade away. You done did this, you done did that. You done picked the wrong man or picked the wrong woman. You overspent. Now the stuff gone. You bought something and now, like I said, it's in the closet and you don't even wear it no more. Now a lot of whole money. You done been an athlete, professional athlete, got cut. Now you broke and you're a PE teacher. Okay, you've seen a lot. Now at age 50, you have passed a century. You're supposed to say, okay, I get it now. I get it now. Really, when you get past 40, you're supposed to say, I see the light now. Some people wake up and some people don't. You're supposed to say, I'm not playing anymore. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm not spending all my money on stuff that change and fade away. That's why I wanted to talk today about and ask people out there that's listening, are you spending your future lifestyle? What I mean by that, people want to see at 5 o'clock today, that's the future. Matter of fact, the next second, the next minute is the future. If you are at a point where you can't be a forward thinker, where you can't see, where you can't know, you got to be able to project that tonight is coming. If y'all putting Christmas stuff up, then you got to drink. You thinking about Christmas going to come. You can't see it, but you believe it. and you're preparing for it. So therefore, you got to prepare for the future. If you think that you're still gonna be alive, if you're not in the hospital about to die, but if you think you're gonna be alive, you should be planning for your future lifestyle. A lot of people, James, is spending their future lifestyle right now. Case in point, with interest rates so high, they're charging 30% on credit cards. Let me tell you, when you put your money, when you charge on a credit card and they're charging you 29 and 30%, what are you really saying? You're saying, okay, I don't have the money, because if I had the money, I'll pay for it outright. I don't have to charge, I don't have to use a credit card. But what you indirectly saying is that, hey, listen, I don't have the money, therefore I have to borrow the money, and I'm going to pay it back to you in the future, and I'm going to pay it back to you at 30%. You, me, all of us want to receive 30% on our money, but you giving somebody 30% on your money that you don't even have right now. You don't Obviously you don't have it because you put it on a credit card. And not only you're saying you don't have it, but you want it now. You want it so bad now, and you don't have it, and you're willing to pay somebody not what you owe them, but you're willing to pay them 30% interest on the credit card. You got to look in the mirror and say, is that insanity? So many people are spending their future lifestyle now. And then when they get to the future, that's why most people, a lot of people, 95% of people, black, white, Spanish, it doesn't matter. It's the mindset. So many people are spending their future lifestyle now. Think about what I just said. Does that make sense?
Rob, I hear you loud and clear. There was a viewer a few weeks ago, and they shared with me that they had gotten an appliance, or something had happened, and they needed to get this item. So they were being charged, and I'm going to tell it the way I was told it, that they were being charged 12% interest daily. And I said, wait a
Ooh.
minute, is there such a Rob, wait, come on. I said, are you serious? And they told me that that was what they were being told, that their interest was 12% daily.
Wow.
Rob, I mean, we all grew up during a time where uh, I forget the name that they used to give people who charged you,
Long shots?
long shots. Yeah,
Long shots.
I said it was illegal. These rates back in the day were illegal.
Not anymore.
You
Not
know,
not
I mean,
not
can
anymore.
a person just charge whatever they want in interest? Yeah.
Yeah, I know a guy who has a business, and his company lends money um to business owners that need like emergency cash. And so what they will do, they will charge them about 15% for the month. For the month, not for the year. For the month.
When she told me 12% daily, I'm saying, "Whoa, you wait, stop. You hey, if you can borrow money and pay that off rather than and get it and spend less than you're paying here, 12% daily, Rob."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 15% a month. That's like 180% a year. So then so he says, Rob, that's his business. And he says, Rob, there's a lot of people that need, these temporary rescues, and they'll borrow 20 and $30,000, and they have to pay it back in a month. Now, I got American Express Platinum for my business. Today, right now, if I needed $100,000, I can take the credit card for American Express and charge $100,000. By the end of the month, as long as I pay them, I don't owe them nothing. I don't owe them nothing. But that's because I have good credit. You see? So, but there's a lot of business people that are, beauticians buying hair, tire shops. There's millions of people that are doing that right now. They're sacrificing their future self for now. And we do this all the time. See, right now, with interest rates so high, it should be a reversal, and I thought that's why I said today I want to have a conversation so some people can say, I never thought about that, Henderson, what you're saying. See, when you right now, we should be not spending right now a time for saving. Why? Because you could save and get 5% interest on your money. Just a few years ago, they wouldn't giving you nothing, not even a 1%, not even half of 1%. Right now, you can get 5% on your money without taking a lot of risk. So you should be saving more. This is time for saving. It's like a time for harvesting, a time for planting. Right now, it's a time for planting.
But that 5%, Rob, is annually, correct?
Correct. That's annually. There's no anyone tell you they'll give you 5% a month run. That's annually. Okay, that's an annual rate. All you gotta do is look at what the banks are charging and what the banks are paying and what the financial institutions are paying worldwide, and that gives you an indication of normalcy, knowing what's normalcy. But if you start thinking that you're going to be getting 20% a month, then that's some kind of Ponzi scheme. It might not happen now, but it's going to happen because it cannot last unless it's backed by the federal government. The federal government is the chief corporate of Ponzi schemes, but they made it all legal only for them. Banks could do it, you know what I mean? But you have to be approved by the federal government because they can print more money, so they know they're good because they can print more money. All right, but if if we try to do it, then we go to jail. So today, that's why I want to talk about your future selves and your future money. Each and every one of us, when you get sick and tired of stuff, you're supposed to be able to say, I'm going to save at least 10% of whatever I get. I'm going to keep 10% of my money. That's minimum. It's good if you can get to 20%, because when you start saying I'm going to keep 20% of whatever I make, then you're conscious. You're unconscious when you're just spending every dime. And I think, for my being in this business for 37 years, most people don't want to talk or hear about a budget, why you need a budget. But a budget gives you eyes. You don't want to be blind. You want to be able to see. You don't want to be like an ostrich and just bury your head in the sand. You know what an ostrich does? When trouble comes, they dig a hole and put their head in the hole, and their butt and everything else is out. So the lions come, and the lions still eat them up. They just don't want to see it coming.
Say, hey, I don't mind being eaten, but I want to see them eat me, right?
Exactly. So a lot of people have that same mindset when it comes to credit cards and overspending. Even when the interest rates was low, the credit card company still didn't lower your rate, because that you talking about some Guido, that's mobster stuff. That's legalized, just mobster, just tyranny, man. And people spend what they don't have for the future. And a lot of people are spending their future lifestyle now. What I mean by that, if you feel that you're going to live, then the money that you have right now, you should be planning it, because it's time for planning, because rates are high. You can get more on your money secure wise. You shouldn't be spending, because now, if you don't have, the merchants and the credit card companies, they're really taking advantage of you. It's a good time for them. Each time, it's always somebody is on the short end, whether it's this time, that way, or this way. But it's always a give and take. It's always trade-offs. You just got to look and see exactly what's going on. You have to be conscious of it. If you don't know it, then that's when you got to call the Henderson Financial Group, and we'll tell you what season it is. Should you be planting or just harvest time? Most people don't understand. With the interest rates, with federal government saying, okay, the Fed says, listen, we're not going to increase interest rates right now because we think that they're high. People can't afford houses. Things are slowing down pretty good. Now, with that in mind, that tells you a lot. The stock market, once they said that, the stock market stopped booming. It's been going up. It's been going up. It's different times. Now, some people, like I had to talk to some people yesterday, and I said, listen, the market was down and your shares were down, but you still have the shares. You don't want to sell the shares when they're down. You just don't. 95% of the people sell their shares when they're down. The wealthy people buy the shares when they're down. But the majority of people, most of the people sell when things are down. You always want to buy when things are down. You don't want to sell, even though you had something and it went down. Timing is everything. I talked to those people in the last 3 days. This stuff went up, and they go, "Oh my God, Robert, you're so right. I say, I know I'm right. I've been doing this 37 years, you know, but it's a mindset. And a lot of people like to get into the fray, and they like to get into the whole being excited and being worried and just want to panic. But you need to know what you don't know. You really need to know what you don't know. And if you don't know it, then that's when you need to call and have a conversation with someone who can really enlighten you and tell you really what's going on, the big picture. Good morning, Tara and Neil. How y'all doing? Miss Anna Dupree, Joseph Caravel. Good morning. Good morning, Denise. Good morning, Lynette. Good morning. Who we got here? Damian Nelson, Mrs. Redhead. Doretha Hall. How you doing? Curtis Kegler. Good morning, brother. Good morning, P. Good morning, everybody. So I wanted to share that with you. Talking about a budget, you got to have a budget because a budget is like the watchful eye. Now, listen, let me tell you something. If you know your number, and all of us should know our number, if you're listening to me, if you don't know your number, you got to find out your number, your overhead expense number. You got to have some sort of indication of your number, how much you are spending. What is your lifestyle currently? What is it, from your mortgage or your rent or your car note or your food, your electric? You need to know that's a number. You need to know that number. If you know how many children you have, you should know what's your number. If you know how many children you don't have or whatever, if you marry, if you know how many girlfriends you have, you got to know. You got to know your number, what you need, what that nut you got to crack every month. And a lot of people, James, they never take a look at it. They just say, no, money, I get my direct deposit and I just take care of my bills. I don't really know my number. We all should know our number. If you know your Social Security number, you should know how much you have, what you need every month. Now, once you know what you need every month, then you got to calculate what's coming in. If you say you need $5,000 because you done figured out your overhead expense, you want to go out, get something to eat, entertainment, okay, and then you want to take care of your overhead expenses, your mortgage or your rent or your car note, okay, then you got to pay your health insurance and all that. And so you know that number. If your number is $5,000, you know that's $60,000 a year. Now, there's no sense in you taking and spending more than $60,000 a year when you know that's your number. You got to have that. So now if you bring in 70,000, that means that 10,000 from your 60, that is your future money that you should be planting and growing, not spending. Most people, once they find a number out, let's say, okay, listen, my number is 6,000 a month. So that's $72,000. I'm bringing in 100,000 after taxes and everything. I have another $10,000. You need to know what you're going to do with that 10,000. You don't just all of a sudden want to go to the concert and want to travel and do all that, because now you are sacrificing your future lifestyle presently. So therefore, you know that you're going to get to the future. Hopefully, if don't say, I can see some people now, man, I don't know, it ain't promised. Why y'all celebrating? Why y'all getting ready for Christmas then?
Why are you planning for the new year, right?
That's right. Why are you planning for the new year? So if you're going to plan for something, the best thing you can plan for is your future financial condition. You want to plan for that. And another thing, James, a lot of people, when they go buy these cars, when they actually go and they need for college planning, or somebody getting married, most people take the money out of their savings and investments. That's not the best way to do it. You should take that money out of a cash value life insurance. All big expenses like that should come out of your cash value life insurance. Why? Because it's non-taxable. And when you take it out non-taxable, there is no schedule where you got to put it back. You can put it back in there. But the good thing about it, at least the life insurance protects you for hundreds of thousands of dollars in case you go to heaven. They're going to give your beneficiaries all that money tax-free.
But Robert, you're saying something that people don't have: cash valued life insurance.
Well, you should have.
They didn't even start. They see that's what you want to do. First, you said know your number. Probably the second thing is make sure you got a cash value life insurance.
A budget, yeah.
A budget, yeah, right. Know that number. The only way you can know the number is having a budget. Yeah.
That's the only way you can can know your number. You gotta have, but you because a lot of people, James, don't want to face the truth. They just want to use the credit as a husband or a second job. But credit card is not a second job. They're charging you 15, 20, 30%. They don't like you. And you spending money that you saying you spending money that you don't have. Damn it, if you don't have it, how you gonna spend it? And then they're gonna charge you 30% to spend it. That's Guido. That's a mobster.
And whatever
So
you paid for that item, if that price that if you ever pay it off, that price that you will pay for it with that kind of interest rate, you never would have bought it for that.
never, 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 never. Because so if you think about this, if someone's charging you 29, 30%, 29.9 or 30% a year, 1 year 30%, second year 30%, the third year 30%, that's already 90%. So in 3 years, it done basically double what you owe. You know, you done paid them. If you charged up $2,000 in 3 years, that $2,000 is going to turn in for the person who charging you 30%. It's going to change it to $4,000. So if it takes you 3 years to pay it off, you're going to not only pay off $2,000, you're going to wind up paying off $4,000 because you got 30% interest more. You got 30% more to pay off. And see, this is what I call financial literacy. This is true financial literacy, James. When we're talking like this, when they say to our children, they're going to teach us financial literacy, it's not really true financial literacy because the first thing they do is tell you what's a bank and what's a checking account, and what's a saving account. Hell, most kids right now, they ain't got no, they don't want no checks.
They're gonna ask you, what is a check?
What is a check? How to
Hey,
write a check? You know what I mean?
Zell me.
Right. You got Zelle and Cash App, you know what I mean? And ACH and direct deposit. There ain't no check. So financial literacy, man, the way they teach it now is so antiquated. It's like old fashioned. Financial literacy now, man, really real financial literacy tells you how money works. It tells you about future value, present value, compound interest, the rule of 72. What is compound interest? It tells you about time value of money. Time value of money. $1 million today is not valued at $1 million. Won't have the same purchasing power 10 years from now as $1 million today. And then if it's on the flip side, whatever you spending now, it's going to be worth less 5 years from now. And especially if you're still making the payment. It's like people ask me, James, they'll say, Rob, what about this mortgage insurance? I say, what do you mean mortgage insurance? I say, what about this mortgage? They say, we just bought a house and we're getting solicited saying that we bought the house and our mortgage is $300,000 balance, but we can put this mortgage insurance, meaning that we can put this insurance on the property saying that if we die, the mortgage will be paid off. Do you like that? I said, let me explain to you what happens. That's what they call a decreasing term. So let me explain to you so y'all can get a visual what that really means. Okay. So James, let's say you bought a house for $400,000 and you put down $100,000. Okay. Now you owe them $300,000, right?
All right.
So now you don't know when you're gonna go to heaven. You may wake up next week or next year or whatever dead, right? You may be in heaven. And then now that monthly payment is, $3,000 a month. You don't want to leave that $3,000 a month payment because your wife and children are in there, and you can't guarantee that you're going to still be around for the next 100 years, correct?
Correct.
So then you have an insurance guy say, hey, why don't you put mortgage insurance on it? So therefore, if you buy this mortgage insurance, we're gonna insure the $300,000 mortgage. So anytime you die, the house will be paid off. And they're gonna tell you for that, James, you're gonna pay $2,500 a year.
I'm gonna tell him I know a friend, and
Right.
he has told me about a cash value life policy.
Okay.
I don't need, but go ahead with yours.
But if it wasn't you, okay, these policies right here are being sold all over the world and people buying them every day. Okay, but it makes sense though, right? The way they explained it
to somebody.
If you bought a $400,000 house, you put down $100,000, you finance $300,000, you got to ensure that if you die, you want to make sure that the house gonna be paid off. Okay, so you could pay $2,500 a year.
Yeah.
To guarantee that anytime you die, the $300,000 mortgage balance is paid off. That's really not a bad deal. You know what I mean? Because people spend $2,500 eating out for the year, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe not you, but people do.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So it's not a bad deal. So people buy that. Now, fast forward, 15 years go by, or even 20 years go by. 20 years go by, you can calculate $2,500 for 20 years. That's $50,000 that you've given the insurance company, right? Because you want them to insure that $300,000 mortgage. But James, the mortgage is not balance. It's not 300,000 no more
Because you done paid
because
those
you didn't
20
pay,
years.
right? So now the mortgage, and on top of it, you've been paying extra, like a whole lot of other people been paying extra. So in 20 years, instead of owing 300,000, you done paid your mortgage down
Mhm.
to, let's say, 150,000. Okay,
Okay.
but you remember 20 years ago, you started paying $2,500 a month, right?
Right. For the
I mean,
insurance.
right, or 2,500 a year for the insurance,
For the
right?
insurance. Yeah. 2,500 a year for the
And
insurance.
it done been 20 years, right?
Been 20 years.
So you done gave the insurance company 50,000, right?
And they
And
saying thank you.
and saying thank you because you ain't dead yet, right?
Right.
So you would think that, okay, 20 years went by, you've been paying them $2,500,
Mhm.
25 years, 2,500 times 20 is 50,000. And now if you die, you would think that they're going to pay off 300,000. That's what you started with, right?
Right.
They're gonna pay off 150,000. Because more, so let's just say 30 years, let's say 29 years go by, and you still paying $2,500 a year.
Mhm.
Now you only owe $50,000 on the house, and you die. Guess how much they gonna pay?
$50,000.
$50,000. The problem is, I always said, if we reverse this and go back in the time when you first started, the first day it was $2,500 a year, and you was covered for 300,000. Seem like as the years go down, that payment should go down, right? Because they're insuring less.
Less.
But the payment don't go down. The payment stays constant, even though the insurance company is on the hook for less now. If you'd have died the first year and paid 2,500, the insurance company would have had to pay $300,000 to pay off the mortgage. But dang, 29 years done went by. It's a 30-year mortgage. You about to pay the house off. Why they still charging that flat rate of 2,500? Because they ain't gonna be out of 300,000 no more. They're gonna be out of, and then now you got six months away from you paying off the house. Guess what the mortgage? Guess how much the payment is? 2,500. You
500.
understand? And now, if you don't die, and now the house paid off, bets off.
So, Mr. Henderson, now that you have told me what you told me, forget about that 2,500 a month that I'm gonna give that quote unquote mortgage insurance company. What should I do with my $2,500?
You could have put the $2,500 and bought a $300,000 policy that's gonna stay there. Now 30 years gone by, you still got 300,000. If you give up the ghost and die, your loved one's getting 300,000. And guess what? That'd have been 30 years, $2,500 a month. You'd have had $75,000 in the savings account
Come
with
on.
this cash value life insurance. You'd have had all that premium would have been inside the policy, which means if 30 years, 2,500, you had $75,000 that you could have used anytime.
And
Because
Mr. Henderson, would I have gotten a dividend, a monthly dividend on that?
a yearly dividend,
A
4%,
yearly dividend?
a 4%
4%?
compound.
Yeah. Ooh, Mr.
So,
Henderson, I, what's that number that I call Monday?
305-825-1444. 305-825-1444. Now, see, James, what we just went over, that's financial literacy. That's financial literacy. Like I say, nothing changes until you change it. When the people get upset and say, I'm sick and tired, and you make changes, that's when things happen. Not until. We're grown now. We're not 16, 17 years old now. You got to take control of your life. You got to stop letting them dupe you, because they're going to sell you every day, 24/7, a dream. They're not going to tell you the truth. That's why you need to have a relationship with the Henderson Financial Group, so we can tell you and teach you and talk to you about money and strategy, okay, and set up a plan for you, and sit down and roll our sleeves up and say, okay, what are we trying to accomplish? You got to have a goal. What is your goal? Where do you want to go? And when do you want to go? And how fast do you want to get there? And what's your risk tolerance? And we'll tell you what you need to do in order to make it happen. We'll give you
Robert,
the options.
I think, and to go back on where we started with this, I think that people should be calling saying, "This is my number." Now,
Yes.
what must I do to develop a plan that would have my money earn me my number? Oh, now, Rob, that would that could start at any age. You don't have to be 40, 50. You could be 25.
Yes.
And what you'll find yourself doing is going far beyond what you can ask, think, or imagine because
Yes.
you started early.
But see, James, I'm not so, after doing this for 37 years, I'm not convinced that the people who are not doing it, I'm not so convinced, I'm convinced that they don't want to do it because
Uh, no, Rob, they don't want to because no one has shown them here's where you could be if you do this now. As you said, you wanted to tell us we're spending our future money now. So
future lifestyle.
right, if we're spending it, it's not going to bring us a harvest because we're not planting any seeds. But if
Well,
you but if you can show someone, because here's another thing, we don't have enough time to get into it, I'm sure, but here's another thing that I think that the leadership of our country is not aware of. How people earn money has totally changed, Rob.
yes.
I, I, I couldn't tell you the last time I walked into a McDonald's until one day this week, right down the street from the station. When I walked in, Rob, there is so this is how long I haven't been in a McDonald's because I don't know how long this has been, but there's no counter. There's nobody behind the counter taking your order. There's a kiosk. I stood at where they register you, where they cash you out. And I guess the people back there said, I guess he don't know. Yeah. But I wasn't going to a kiosk. I was gonna make someone. I knew I could have did mobile. I could have called it. Hey Rob, I was gonna make somebody serve me. Because that's what I want. Yeah, as an
Why? Because
individual.
everything was like self-service. The computer was
Oh,
right there.
oh
You had
yeah,
to order
you're right.
online, so
Yeah,
to speak.
you had several kiosks and you can do it mobile. Hey Rob, drive through now. People, there were, and I think there was a sign that said something that you could eat in. Most people think about if you were going to say it, we're going to McDonald's. Now, yeah, some people would drive through and come back and eat it at home. But if you were going there, and I should use McDonald's, but that's where I was. I'm telling the story. That's where I was. But they did have tables and chairs that you could sit. There was not one person seated in McDonald's, not one. And the
Mm.
only person standing in McDonald's as a customer was me driving through. So and I say that
Technology.
the technology has taken us to a different place, and I don't think that those quote unquote leaders, whether they be in Tallahassee or whether they be in your county, I don't think that they have quote unquote realized that one, people are getting a different type of service, and two, that we have found a different method of earning money. Paradigm, as Sister Anna Dupree says, paradigm shifts are not as simple to do as it is to explain it. No, our young people in a mindset, hey, uh, when I want something now, I speak to my son, boom, and hey, the package gets delivered at the door. I don't go in the store to shop,
Yeah,
anymore.
but James, I agree 100% with Miss Dupree is saying. You know, like she said, paradigm shifts are not as simple, as we would have them to be, because I've always said that there are three type of people. Those people that see, those people that see when they're told, and those people who just don't see. I, you know, after me being in this financial services for over 37 years, I've come to the realization that a lot of people don't want to know. And then the people that do hear it doesn't really mean they're going to obey and do it. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of discipline, self-discipline, and courage to turn your steering wheel around. If you're going in the wrong direction, some people, you can get complacent, and you can have a habit of doing stuff wrong, and because it could be comfortable. Some people, man, like that movie, The Matrix, with the red pill and the blue pill. Some people just don't really want to know the truth. I mean,
Well,
some people just really don't want to. They don't want to really look at the truth because it's very uncomfortable and it's frightening. And some people just want to be happy and dumb.
but
I mean,
the cost is going to be suffer.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Rob, the cost is going. If I was a smoker and you saw me sitting up here with things hanging out, things in my nose, and we're having this conversation, and I don't say, "Hey, take it from me, don't smoke," you know, or "Look at me, I was a smoker." I mean, come on. At some point, and people just say, "Well, hey, that ain't gonna happen to me." Yeah. Oh, really?
but
Oh,
James,
okay.
but you bring up a good point. I mean, you've seen the commercials. All of us seen the commercials that say "Don't smoke," and the lady with the hole in her nose and hole in her throat. But there are millions of people have saw that commercial and they still go out and smoke. Hell, there are people that are in the hospital with a gown on smoking. They walk through the hall and go outside the hospital with a
But
gown on and go
but
outside
Rob,
the hospital and smoke. So my
but
point is that
but
you,
they're
you,
saying, Rob, their time is up. They've already get. But I'm saying we must what we're doing and what you're doing. That's why
right.
I'm saying we must share. But we sometimes now we've got to share not with the younger people now. We've got to share with those people that are still here that are making laws and, as you say, determining what the interest rates are going to be. That, hey, maybe we have to slap them upside their head and say, look, hey, things that the paradigm is not changing now. It has changed. And you are still trying to do the same old thing to get the same old results. And it just doesn't equate.
You're 100% right, but that is the class, the mindset of people. You have the ones that see, you have the ones that see when they're told, and you have the ones that just don't see. When Jesus came out and said there will always be poor among you, that is pretty powerful. When I first learned that, to say that there will always be the poor among you, that was convincing, and I believe that. When you believe that, then there are some people who just don't want the truth. Everybody don't want to be positive. And you will say, I don't know why everybody don't want to be positive, but there are some people that are lovers of the darkness. Some people are devil worshipers. Some people just don't want to do. I once met a guy, and his name, he called himself Can't Get Right. I said, what's your name? He said, my name is Can't Get Right. And he wasn't 12 or 16. The guy was like 30 years old. And I say, excuse me, what is your name again? He said, Can't Get Right. He walked around and he
Oh,
told people that was his name, was Can't Get Right. That's a mindset, James. So I'm saying, you know, we can only help those who want help. And this platform, and what I'm speaking at the Henderson Financial Group, we want people who want to see when they're told. That's who we want. We want people who want to really see when they're told. Those are the people we can help. As a matter of fact, in the scriptures, all the holy books, it says the same thing. You have to have effort. There's a trade-off. You have to want. That's why ask, seek, and knock. Not just lay down, the door gonna be open for you. You got to seek it and you got to ask. That's effort. That's the trade-off. Pick up your bed and leave, walk. You have to do something. You know what I mean? Think
yes,
about it. Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
I,
Miranda
I,
Caprice, it means I'll always have a market. You got that too. You got that rootin' tootin' right, Mr. Dupree. I will
Well,
always have plenty of people to help.
but see, Rob, they can't call you from the hospital bed asking for help. Because you'd have to throw your hands up. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, I need that insurance now because, hey, I'm laid up,
hey,
Hey,
man,
that might
hey,
be
James,
too late.
I can only deal with the believers. I can't deal with a non-believer.
Oh,
I can only deal with the believers. You have to have an imagination. You have to believe. You don't even call the Henderson Financial Group if you don't believe. You have to believe.
things can be better. There's a better way. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. No matter how bad you're doing, there's a better way. Now, like I said, if you're in the hospital in the bed and the diagnosis is grim, maybe Robert is not the one to call. But if you something has touched your mind today, saying that, you know something, here's a simple way. Rob, you're gonna get plenty of calls if they'll obey this. If you don't know your number, call Mr. Henderson on Monday. Call the Henderson Financial Group on Monday. You're not gonna be able to reach him. They'll set up for you. But hey,
Call the office.
if you don't know your number right now, if you were asked your number and you don't know that number, just say, I'm calling the Henderson Financial Group on Monday.
Yeah, your
On Monday.
overhead expense number, right? Your
Yeah,
financial number, your
not the phone.
living number.
We ain't looking for your phone number or
Yeah,
your
your cost of
social.
living, your cost of living, your monthly cost of living number. You need to know your number. If you don't know it, you
If you
call
don't know, call.
305 825 1444. 305 825 1444. And we will help you to figure out your
Your
monthly
number.
overhead cost of living number. And once we get that number,
Woo!
boy, it's on and rocking. We can show you what to do with that number. We will show you. You give us that. We figure out that your number, and then we're gonna figure out how much you bringing in. Oh man, that's like our X-ray. That's our MRI. We can see it all. That's a picture. That's what you want to do. If you really want to know the truth in all the world, there's two things. One is falsehood and one is truth. If you want to know the truth, call 305 825 1444, and we're going to tell you that number. That's our MRI will do for you. All right.
That's a good
James,
one. Our
take us
time
out in
is up.
prayer. Take us out in prayer, brother, because
Oh,
we
no
need
question.
prayer. Because remember now, there's three type of people: those who see when they're told, and those who just don't see. Let's pray
Mm.
for all three.
Okay, Father God, we humbly come before you in the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ, the Holy Spirit that dwells within us. We reach out for your presence with those who will hear this, whether it's now or later, that they will be touched some way to really reach out and say, there is a better way. And then they will not just have the knowledge, but they will try to seek the understanding and then have the wisdom to act on that, so that their lives can be better and that they will have an opportunity to be a blessing to others. And today on Veterans Day, we pray for all the veterans and the families of veterans, that they will feel the honor, the gratitude, and the thanks that we will be giving for the service that they've provided or that their loved ones have provided. And bless those families. Bless them with that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that they too can find a better life for themselves and the family. And we promise, if you will do that for us today, dear God, that we'll give you all the praise and all the honor. It's in his name we pray. So it is. So be it.
Let the church
Amen.
say amen. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen. Amen.
Hey, listen, you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be safe and get a new thought. Call us on Monday with that number so we can help you
Yes.
get the number.
Woo. Get that. Boy,
That's an
hey,
important number.
get that number. I wanna know my number.
All right.
All
All
right,
right,
bye.
Mr. Free. Thank you, Miss Vickers. Love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace, love, and happiness.